For those trying to do it all, juggling kids, practice, work, and a million other things, instead of pulling up to this, I'm going to give you ideas of decent low-carb meals that you can make in under 20 minutes, so you can have more time for this and this. First is my secret to juicy, flavorful pork chops every time. For this recipe, use boneless pork chops because we're going to be doing something special to these chops, and that bone is just going to get in the way. And then you'll have a bone to pick with the bone. After you pat dry the chops, set them aside to make a delicious seasoning. Add in 1.5 tablespoons of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of sugar-free brown sweetener, and then 1/2 teaspoon of each: salt, paprika, black pepper, cayenne pepper, and garlic powder. Give that a gentle whisk to combine. Now that we got the flavor, let me show you how to keep them juicy because nobody likes a dry pork chop, and it's real easy to do if you're not careful. I like to use bacon. This adds moisture, more flavor, and helps seal in those juices. It's best to use thin cut bacon here because it's easier to wrap than thick cut. Next, rub that seasoning all over your bacon wrapped pork chops. Then place them on a wire rack over a foil lined baking tray. Bake this in the oven at 400 degrees for around 15 to 18 minutes or until a thermometer that you insert reads 140 degrees. To get the bacon a little extra crispy, because we like crispy bacon here, you want to put them under the broiler. So move your baking tray to the top rack under the broiler and broil on high for 2 to 4 minutes or until they reach 145 degrees. These effortless pork chops are the juiciest, so they will disappear from the dinner table fast. If you aren't a fan of grocery shopping or pulling out a bunch of ingredients to meal prep, well, this next 20-minute meal idea is for you because you don't have to do any of that since you can get a healthy, easy to prepare meal delivered right to your door using Green Chef, who is my sponsor for today's video. Green Chef is a CCOF certified organic company that supports your healthy lifestyle with pre-portioned ingredients, pre-made sauces, and easy to follow recipes to make weeknight meals a cinch. They have delicious choices with options that fit every lifestyle, from keto and paleo, vegan, vegetarian, fast and fit, Mediterranean, and gluten-free. And since these ingredients are pre-portioned, you are reducing your food waste by up to 23% versus grocery shopping. To celebrate Earth Month, Green Chef is partnering with One Tree Planted to plant trees in northern Thailand to combat food insecurity in vulnerable communities. The trees will be strategically planted in common and private lands to help improve food security, enhance livelihoods, and improve biodiversity. For a limited time, Green Chef will plant 1 tree for every box sold with the organization One Tree Planted in honor of Earth Month. Use my code KetoFocus60 to get 60% off plus free shipping. Go to greenchef.com for more details. Help celebrate Earth Month and save time in the kitchen. Go to greenchef.com and use my code KetoFocus60 to get 60% off plus free shipping. The next 20-minute recipe is one that can do double duty, especially if you're notoriously late in the morning because these are poppable bites that are perfect for on the go. Start by adding 1 cup of pork panko. You can substitute with 1 cup of almond flour or 1/3 cup of coconut flour here, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne, 1 pound of ground sausage. You could actually use ground turkey or chicken as a replacement. 3 ounces of softened cream cheese, 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, and I prefer to shred my own cheese just because I don't want to have that potato starch filler that's in a lot of pre-shredded cheeses, and 3 green onions that I've sliced up. Mix this together with a spoon or your hands. I like to use an electric mixer because it's faster. Then use a cookie scoop or your hands to roll them into 1 1/4 inch balls and place them on a foil-lined baking tray. Bake these at 400 degrees for 15 minutes, or you can air fry them at 400 degrees for around 10 to 12 minutes. These are perfect by themselves for on the go, or you can dip them in your favorite sauce for more flavor. Just because you aren't headed to the drive-thru doesn't mean you can't enjoy some delicious teriyaki chicken. I'll show you how to make it low carb with less than 2 grams of carbs per serving and in under 20 minutes. Start with cooking boneless chicken thighs in a skillet. Since we're cooking our chicken over medium-high heat, I'm gonna use avocado oil because it has a high smoke point. This way it'll get a nice sear on each side without overheating the oil. I'm using chicken thighs here because they taste better in my opinion, plus they're cheaper, but you can certainly use chicken breasts or chicken tenders. Let these cook on each side until the chicken is cooked through. Meanwhile, let's make an easy keto teriyaki sauce. In a small bowl, we add a 1/3 cup of tamari or soy sauce. Another alternative is to use liquid aminos. This is just a soy-free version of soy sauce if you're one of those people that think soy is the devil. Next, add 2 tablespoons of avocado oil, 2 tablespoons of sugar-free brown sweetener. This is the key ingredient to give your sauce that slightly sweet flavor. Then for some tang, add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 clove of minced garlic or a teaspoon of garlic paste, 1 teaspoon of tomato paste, a 1/4 teaspoon of powdered ginger, or you can use a 1/2 teaspoon of grated fresh ginger. Then for our thickener, I like to use arrowroot powder. It's my favorite keto thickener. I'm adding in a 1/2 teaspoon. Some people think that arrowroot powder isn't keto because they think it's high in carbs, but really a 1/2 teaspoon adds a 1/2 carb for this entire dish. So really, if you portion it out per serving, it's only 1/8 of a carb. So low. Arrowroot powder is actually 7 times more powerful as a thickening agent compared to all-purpose flour, so you really don't have to add too much of it. You could substitute with xanthan gum, but I'm not a fan because it usually makes your dish slimy, especially if you add too much of it. Now that our chicken is done cooking, we set that aside and I'm gonna add in some vegetables. You can use whatever low-carb vegetables you want here. I'm gonna add a 1/2 bag of frozen stir-fry mix with broccoli, red pepper. I'm gonna pick out these water chestnuts because they serve no purpose in my life. I said it. Other options for low-carb vegetables include asparagus, spinach, mushrooms, celery, green beans, onions, basically whatever you have rotting in your fridge. Now's the time for that cabbage that you bought 2 months ago to shine. Once the veggies are softened, add the chicken back in and pour in our teriyaki sauce. Let it cook until that sauce is bubbly and thickened. Serve it over cauliflower rice and call it Panda Express and let them know that you won't be hitting their drive-thru anymore because you found a more delicious, lower carb option. And it takes you the same amount of time to cook this from scratch as it would for you to wait in their drive-thru. I said that too. If these recipes got you thinking that you really can do it all, I've got a bunch more, including keto lasagna and some easy keto sheet pan meals that will help you achieve that superhuman status.